Hi, friends. I'm Rebecca, and thank you for joining me for this brief practice designed around what grounds and supports us in our lives. We'll spend some time considering what nurtures us, as well as focusing our attention on the Mula Bandha, the pelvic floor muscle, that which supports us and helps us feel balanced in our yoga practice. You won't need any props today, but you might like to use a strap if you prefer that for your seated forward folds. So take a moment, gather what you need, and I'll see you on the mat. Greetings, everyone. We'll start in our comfortable Sukhasana shape today. So just allow yourself to come to this comfortable seat on your mat. Allow your hands to gently rest on your knees and begin taking slow, deep breaths. And you might want to just pull the flesh out from underneath your sits bones so you can really feel the bones connect with the earth here. And allow yourself to come down into your body, connecting here with this feeling of being grounded to the earth. Maybe even thinking about what grounds you. Is it your connection to family? Maybe a special pet? Or maybe just this feeling of being connected to the earth with your body as you sit here on your mat. Allow the breath to come deeply into your belly. Maybe taking the deepest breath you've taken all day so far. And as you settle here into your practice today, I invite you to lift your pelvic floor muscle. See if you can bring that pelvic floor muscle up and in. We're engaging the Mula Bandha, the root lock of yoga. Not only does this help support our internal organs, but it also assists with balance and many other physical processes of our bodies. So grounding yourself here and nurturing yourself, bringing that Mula Bandha up and in, giving yourself a hug from the inside. We'll continue to keep our awareness on the engagement of this Mula Bandha as we work through the practice today. So now, on your next inhale, allow your eyes to flutter open. We're going to take our fingertips out to the mat next to us, planting the left fingertips into the mat and inhaling the right arm up and over, pressing a little into the right hip here by putting some pressure into the left fingertips and creating this space between the pelvis and the ribs on the right side. As you inhale, feel your ribs expand Maybe allowing this right shoulder to come back and open slightly. And then on your next exhale, allow this right arm to reach over towards the left, walking around, bringing your fingertips down to the center and bringing your other fingertips alongside, and then pressing back into your sits bones here. So you're putting a little pressure into your fingertips and continuing to press back into those sits bones that are rooted down in the floor. Allow yourself to sink forward, maybe a lot, maybe a little. Allow your body to find its way. And then when you're ready, rooting down into those sits bones, inhale, walking your fingertips back toward the body, coming back to this stacking of the shoulders over the hips and bringing the fingertips back out to the mat. We'll ground down through these right fingertips now, inhaling the left arm up and exhaling, reaching over towards the seam of the ceiling and the wall, grounding down through the left hip, inhaling to open the space between the pelvis and the rib cage. And then exhaling, sweeping this arm around, coming down to center. Once again, pressing into our foundation, into our roots, sinking forward, drawing that Mula Bandha up and in. And then inhaling to walk the fingertips back towards the body. Coming back up right now, we'll inhale both arms up overhead. Exhaling as we twist over to the left side. Fingertips grounding down into the floor in the back. And coming to fingertips here rather than the palm, just to encourage that energy to move right up our nice straight spine. Inhale to grow tall. Exhale into the twist. And now inhaling, both arms up overhead, pinky fingers coming to face each other. Exhaling as we drop in the other direction. Pulling that Mula Bandha up and in, coming into our twist. Inhaling to grow tall. Exhale into the twist. Inhaling, arms come up overhead, really feeling those sits bones rooting down into the ground. And then exhale, hands come to heart center. I'm going to move the legs out of the way now, coming onto the knees. So bringing your knees underneath you here, I'm going to roll the toes under, coming into a toe pose. So this pose stretches the bottoms of the feet. It can be a little intense, so roll yourself back slowly, finding that level of sensation that's right for you. And if you like, perhaps coming upright, stacking your shoulders over your hips and allowing your hips to come in contact with your heels. Finding a point of focus now, bringing this stretch into the bottom of the feet, feeling your toes rooting down, connecting you to the earth, and giving a little stretch to the bottoms of these feet that walk us around all day, practicing a little nurturing and bringing that focus back to the Mula Bandha if you've lost it, lifting that pelvic floor. Nice big deep inhale here. And then we'll exhale, coming forward slowly, pressing into the fingertips here. We'll roll back onto the feet, coming into seed pose. So back is rounded here, palms are on the floor for balance. Bringing the arches of the feet towards each other and rounding the back, feeling the skin of the back stretch and feeling ourselves like a tiny seed grounding down into the earth, lifting that pelvic floor. Big deep breath here, and then as we're exhaling, we'll allow the hips to begin to shift up. And if having your feet very close together here is uncomfortable, you can heel toe the feet back to shoulder with distance. Putting a nice bend in the knees here, we'll come into our first forward fold, perhaps walking the fingertips from one side to the other, or allowing yourself to hold on to the elbows, letting gravity do some of the work here, beginning to soften the back of the legs. Couple of deep breaths. And then we'll allow the fingertips to come down to the floor, bending both knees slightly, taking one hand over each bent knee, and then inhaling up to stand. Hands come to heart center. We'll take a short walk up to the top of the mat now. So coming up to the top of the mat, rolling the shoulders back, allowing the arms to hang at the sides, palms facing forward, coming into our mountain pose. Imagine here that you're engaging the feet away from each other on the mat. Feel how that allows the muscles to really hug into the bones here, and then draw up through that pelvic floor muscle, then drawing the belly button to the spine, tucking the chin slightly, and just feeling the stability of this pose. From this place of connection, we'll inhale the arms up overhead, reaching out through the fingertips, then bringing the hands together. Exhale all the way down through heart center. Inhale up halfway. Exhaling to fold. Inhaling up all the way, reaching out through the fingertips. Hands come to meet, exhaling all the way down through heart center. Inhaling up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling all the way up. And coming through this motion a couple more times, exhaling down into our forward fold. Bringing that attention back to the Mula Bandha as we inhale up halfway. Exhale to release. Inhaling up all the way, feeling how that engagement through the pelvic floor brings an additional feeling of stability and balance to your mountain pose. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, release. Inhaling up to stand. One last time here. Inhaling up through the fingertips. Exhaling, hands come down through the face. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, release. Inhale all the way up to stand. Hands come down through heart center one last time, and we'll stay down in this forward fold this time. Planting both hands now, stepping back to downward facing dog. Allowing the knees to be bent here, rotating that tailbone up towards the ceiling. Pressing down into that place where the fingers
Meet the palm of the hand, and then gripping just slightly with the fingertips to bring that little cupping action underneath the palms. Pressing away from the mat with the shoulders, drawing in through that Mula Bandha. Nice big deep breath here. Exhaling, allow the heels to sink down a little farther towards the floor, any amount. And then grounding down through the left heel, we'll inhale the right leg up, bending at the knee, flexing the foot, and coming into three-legged dog. Squaring the shoulders back towards the mat. Taking a couple of breaths here, really feeling that hip open up. Inhaling to extend the leg, squaring the hips back towards the mat. Exhaling, bringing that right knee to the nose. And then stepping through the hands. We'll allow the left knee to come in contact with the floor. And before we begin to rise up into our Anjaneyasana or crescent lunge, really drawing that pelvic floor muscle in, drawing the thighs towards each other, and then allowing first one hand and then the other to come above the bent knee. When you're ready and you've found your balance here, inhaling the arms up overhead, pulling back through that right hip, pressing forward through the left, rooting down through the legs as we reach up through the fingertips. And as we exhale, we'll come into a twist here, allowing the arms to come down halfway. And then if you like, you can drop that back hand, reaching up through the front hand, shifting the gaze down, bringing in that Mula Bandha. Inhaling here, and on our next exhale, we'll allow the arms to windmill around, coming back to frame the right foot, turning the left toes under, coming into a low lunge. Bringing that left foot forward just slightly, planting the left heel into the floor, drawing up through that Mula Bandha, we'll rise up, coming into Warrior One. Feeling the stability of this pose, drawing the right hip back, left hip forward, stacking the knee over the ankle, inhaling here to grow tall, and exhale, opening up into Warrior Two, doing whatever you need to do to adjust your stance, connecting with the outer edges of the feet. And then when you're ready, coming down into extended side angle, allowing that arm to extend out long over the ear. And now shifting the gaze down, we'll allow that front leg to straighten, allowing the hand to find its place on the shin or the ankle. Arm extends out long overhead, moving into triangle. Not losing that Mula Bandha here. So we're grounding down into the outer edges of the feet, slight micro bend in the knees, pelvic floor is engaged. And that gaze can be up towards the thumb or straight ahead. And then when you're ready, engaging everything here, we'll inhale up like someone's pulling us up. Coming into the wide-legged stance here, exalted warrior, hands up overhead, reaching out through the pointer fingers. And then turning that front foot back out, we'll allow the arms to come down, framing that front foot. And you can step the foot back, coming directly to downward facing dog, or go through a vinyasa if you like. Meeting here in downward facing dog, taking 3 deep breaths. And then when you're ready, grounding down through that right heel, we'll lift the left leg from the floor now. Exhaling as we stack the hips, bending the left knee, coming into 3-legged dog on this side. Squaring those shoulders back down towards the floor. Inhaling as we extend the left leg. Exhaling, left knee comes into the nose. Stepping through. Dropping the right knee to the mat. And then drawing in through the pelvic floor before we move here. And then bringing one hand and then the other over that front knee. Inhaling the arms overhead when you're ready. Or keeping the hands above the bent knee. It's completely up to you. Feeling that energy building from the ground up. Inhaling here. Exhaling as we twist open to the side. And keeping the hands here or dropping that back hand. Inhaling up through the front fingertips, shifting the gaze downward. Engaging that Mula Bandha for balance. And then arms windmill back over that front foot, coming back up onto the toes and the back, stepping that right foot forward slightly, right heel engaging with the floor, growing this pose from the ground up, inhaling up, engaging through the pelvic floor, knee coming over ankle, feet pressing away from each other. Inhaling here, grow tall, give yourself a little smile. Exhale, opening up, warrior two. Find your way into your pose. And then allow yourself to come to extended side angle. Reaching that arm out long over the ear, opening the knee out. Shifting the gaze down, coming into triangle. Continuing to engage that pelvic floor. And then on your next inhale, engaging everything, coming up to stand, hands come to meet overhead, feet come to parallel, freely extending out long through those fingertips. Nice big deep breath here. And then on an exhale, turning that front foot back towards the front of the mat. Hands come down to the mat, coming through your vinyasa. We're coming straight to downward facing dog. Taking our 3 deep breaths here. In through the nose and out through the nose. Making that yoga breath, that ujjayi breath. And when you've come to the end of your 3 breaths, shifting your gaze forward, you can take a walk or hop to the top of the mat. We'll come to meet at the top of the mat in forward fold. And then even in this position where it feels awkward or unusual, drawing in through that pelvic floor as we inhale the arms up, coming into chair pose. So hips are shifting back. Hands can be outstretched in front of you or up by the ears. And we'll take a deep breath here. And then as we're exhaling, allow the palms to press the air away, engaging through the triceps.
Inhale, arms come up overhead or out front. Exhale, press the air away. Inhale, sweeping forward. Exhale, pressing the air away. Inhale, sweeping the arms forward. Exhaling, pressing the air away, and this time coming up onto the toes. Drawing that pelvic floor muscle up and in. Balancing on the toes here, arms sweeping back. Welcoming that little shake and tremble. Continuing to draw that pelvic floor muscle up and in. And then inhaling, allowing the heels to come back down to the floor. Exhaling, hands come all the way through heart center as we come into our forward fold. Taking the fingertips to the floor here will allow the hips to sink down as we exhale, coming back into our seed pose where we began. Allow the shoulders to spread apart from each other and the skin of the back to stretch. And then moving very carefully, putting one hand in front of you and the other hand behind. Allow yourself to come to a seated position and scoot back towards the back of your mat. We'll bring the soles of the feet together in Baddha Konasana or butterfly, extending the spine nice and straight and long. Taking a deep breath here. Drawing that pelvic floor up and in. And keeping the right leg bent here, we're going to extend the left leg out long, bringing the right sole of the foot to the inside of the left leg. And you can turn your body slightly so that your belly button is in line with your knee here. And from here, we'll inhale the arms up overhead and exhale, coming forward any amount, allowing the hands to come down and frame the leg, but keeping the chest shining forward like we're extending the body out and over the leg. Toes are still pointing back towards the face. So working to keep the shoulders moving towards each other here. Nice deep breath. And then exhale, walking the fingers back towards the body. We'll bring this left leg back in. Soles of the feet come to touch as we come back into Baddha Konasana. Extending the spine up long, feeling the groundedness and rootedness of this pose. Feeling the energy moving up our spine from the earth. And then extending the right leg out long. Left foot comes to the inside of the right thigh, turning towards this right knee now. And then exhaling as we come forward, extending the torso out long over the leg. And if you have a towel or a strap here, you can always use that around your foot also. So allowing yourself to relax forward, but keeping the chest shining forward here. Couple of deep breaths. And then walking the fingertips back towards the body. We'll draw this right leg back in to meet the left. Extending the spine up long and straight, Baddha Konasana, engaging that Mula Bandha. And then exhaling as we Allow our hands to help our knees close, extending the feet out long in front of us. Again, if you have a strap here that you'd like to use, you could throw that around your feet. Or if you're working without a strap today, just inhaling the arms up overhead and exhaling to fall forward over the legs. Extending that torso out long, out of the pelvis and over the legs. Maybe bending the knees slightly to allow the belly to rest on the thighs. Anything is fine here as long as you're feeling that lengthening and stretch in the hamstrings. One more deep breath here. And then allow yourself to walk your fingertips back, coming into a nice Dandasana here. Fists or palms of the hands pressing into the floor, feeling that connection of the earth all the way through your spine. And then allow that to relax. We'll come down to rest on the back, taking just a moment here to pull the knees into the chest, or take any other natural movements that you need here. Maybe you need a quick twist, or you'd like to hug in one knee and extend the other. So just take a moment to find what you need. And then when you've found your way through those movements, just allow yourself to extend your legs out nice and long, coming to rest here, your whole body in connection with the earth's energy. And just allow yourself to relax and experience the benefit of the practice. And as always, if you have a few more minutes today, I encourage you, I invite you to take this time for some stillness in your day. But if it's time for you to move on into other parts of your day, then gently begin to move your body, rolling to one side, and press your way back to a seated position. Bringing your hands to heart center. And we'll close today with my wish that your yoga may follow you off the mat.